Hello, good afternoon, everybody. How are we all doing on this Wednesday afternoon? I hope you're all doing well. We are here to discuss last night's game and do some player ratings as well. I know I did say I wasn't going to do a show like this because I said after the game that I'd actually kind of said what I wanted to say, but really, I need a little bit of time to kind of digest everything, kind of get some proper thoughts together. And I thought it's just another bit of content today on the channel. So we're here to share our thoughts, basically. So big up to everyone that's tuning in, but a very pleasing win last night. Obviously, aspects of it that I wasn't particularly happy with, but we are still managing to win football games. And I think that's the reality of it, isn't it? We still find a way somehow. And that's a positive. But like I said, we want to be a lot better than what we showed last night. But like I said, win's a win. So anyway, we're going to get into it in a bit more detail in a moment. Let's say a few hellos in the chat first before we do. Dark Storm is in. He says, let's go. Yeah, indeed, let's go. Our first tier, yeah, you were the first tier. What a win, absolutely. It was a good win, wasn't it? We all dream of a team of Ladapo, Blue Terrier in his sarcasm. We love that. Aiden says, hi, mate. You're okay. Hello, Aiden. How are you doing, mate? Good to see you in the chat, as always, as everybody else, or Blue Terrier too. But Aiden, you're always here without fail, and it is fantastic. My wonderful mod. And he says, make sure to smash the likes, everyone, and subscribe if you're new. Yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate that. And we definitely wasn't at our best, but it should have been more than 2. Yeah, absolutely. But we're going to get into it now anyway. Let's have a look. Obviously, the lineup, let me know what I kind of said it in the stream, to be fair, what I thought of the lineup, but let's just get it up again. Obviously, Helic came into the starting 11. Let me just move this so you can see me. Helic came into the starting 11 and to replace the injured Pearson, who, and obviously was the captain. Radolovic somehow reclaimed his place up top, placing the injured Healy, Chroma alongside him. That decision completely baffled me because I don't want to keep sounding like a broken record here, but Bojan is not impacting the game whatsoever. He's lightweight. He's not holding the ball up. He goes down too easily. He's not scoring. He's not doing anything productive. So I don't really know how he earned the right to start again last night, to be honest with you. Confusing. But apart from that, I would say I was pretty happy with the lineup. It was as expected, but I would have brought in Marshall instead of Bojan. Ladapo somehow finds himself back on the bench, which again, don't want to see him anywhere near the squad, let alone let alone on the bench. Shouldn't even be on the bench. Yes, we signed him, but the reality is he doesn't offer anything anyway, so he might as well not even be part of the squad. We're still paying his, the club's still paying his wages. That master stroke by Cartwright, bringing him in, the one that we've been chasing all summer apparently, because of his quality. Unbelievable. But yeah, like I said, pretty much was expected. The lineup overall good, obviously after a good run of form, and obviously it was a strong side. And yeah, that's my thoughts on it. Let me just move myself back to the middle here because we don't want to be. There we are. Let's have a look at the comments before we get going. But yeah, that's my thoughts on this selection. Aiden says, I don't know how we won yesterday. I thought we were very poor. Yeah, agreed. It should have been more than 2, to be honest, but was a bit poor. Yesterday's match was that boring. You could have watched paint and dry. Watching paint and dry would have been better. Yeah, it was. It was a bit lively though in spells. I know what you're saying though. It wasn't the best to watch, but it was still a bit lively in spells. Has anyone heard update on Miller? Aiden says no, not at the moment. I think it's still pretty much early days. Obviously, it's only happened last night, so probably. Mind you, I was going to say when he does his press conference this week, but we won't have one, will he? Because we don't have a game this weekend. So, yeah, I mean, we might hear something within the next few days about Miller. To be honest, the club might post something. But yeah, nothing as of yet from my side. The game was very scrappy for 60 minutes. Then Dove changed to 3-4-3, and we looked a lot better. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, when you've got an opponent like Leyton Orient, they're wanting to make it scrappy, and they kind of did make it scrappy, but we just weren't at the races. We should look at the B team strengths for Wigan. Yeah, I mean, look, I said it before, though, Blue Terry. I said it before. I would rather see one of the academy lads, B team players, whatever, come in and have a go, because at the moment, nobody is staking his players for a starting spot up front. And, what have we got to lose? But the problem is, because you've signed this Ladapo guy that is absolutely hopeless, he has to well, I don't think he has to, or he could, if he's not doing it, then he can leave. But they've signed him, then I don't know if there's an expectation that he should be in and around the squad, which really it should be down to the manager. But yeah, I agree though. But look, let's have a look at the game then as it happens. So obviously it was a bit of a sluggish start from us, wasn't it, really? Leyton Orient were troubling us a little bit twice early on with those long balls that they were doing constantly all evening. First time Helic just about dealt with it, unconvincingly, I must admit. Second time, look at Turton, let the ball bounce, if you remember. Didn't seem to realise an Orient player was behind him, but their shot that they got off was blocked. But there were warning signs were there early on for us, and we did start very slowly, and we allowed them into the game. But we allowed them to get a bit of confidence, even though it didn't make any difference in the end. But the start wasn't the most ideal thing. Obviously, the first huge chance for us, the first two big chances, Radulovic and Karoman to get on the score sheet. Bojan, if you remember, tries to side foot a low cross ball, but he fails to make a connection with it. And then obviously it carried on through to Karoman, if you remember, who had a tap in from just a few yards out, and he ends up scuffing his shot as well. The flag went up, but then obviously the finishers some of our forwards so far this campaign. That's the reality of it. The forwards just not good enough. And obviously then we did eventually go ahead. Obviously Helic with the goal, adding to his goal collection, but a beautiful ball from the corner by Miller. How we're going to miss that in the coming weeks, months, from Miller's delivery. Obviously a great confidence booster for Helic, who sees his opportunity to regain his position with the Pearson injury. I did expect Helic to come back in anyway, but it probably would have been maybe for Lees rather than Pearson if Pearson hadn't got injured before. But yeah, obviously opening 35 minutes, it was okay. We kind of got a little bit better, but we wasn't very good, was it really, overall? Obviously, we had to really look to try and kill the game off in these moments, and we failed to do that. But Duff has been very critical of that kind of, that killing off of games when we need to. But look, Leyton Orient looked like exactly like a side that will be fighting against relegation this season. Didn't trouble us at all so far. Now, Miller, obviously, well, this was the big talking about, wasn't it? We'll get to your comments in a moment, by the way, when I finish the first half summary. Miller, obviously, went down late on into the first half. His knee seemed to get bent the wrong way after an Orient player fell onto his leg accidentally. A really kind of ugly looking incident, really, wasn't it? And obviously Miller ended up being stretchered off after looking in very serious pain for a good few minutes when before he went off. So obviously stretched off, and that was probably the most infuriating. I know the performance wasn't the best, but I think Miller going off was probably the most infuriating part of the evening, to be honest with you. Because we ended up winning the game despite the performance not being great. But the Miller injury really did kind of, I wouldn't say overshadow the win, because the win was vitally important. We got it. But I just think because Miller went off, and we know how big of a player he is, it's just a massive, massive blow. Really is. And like I said, I am fearing the worst with that. I know we haven't got a diagnosis yet, but it doesn't look great. Lord, that was kind of right at the end of the first half. Obviously, it went in 1-0. Obviously, Hellick with the headed goal, difference at the interval. But I think it was a good away performance so far. It wasn't the best, but it was okay, good. Nothing great to write home about, but we've got the goal. And defensively, yes, they didn't really trouble us, but we look fairly solid there, apart from a few moments. And I just felt in the second half we need to step it up, another game, kill the game off, as I said. And I said that throughout commentary last night, to be fair. I didn't want us to kind of give them optimism that they could get back in it, because that 1-0, anything could happen. But obviously the big talk about was obviously the Miller injury, a real blow, as he has been very good. He's been superb for us this season. Let's get into your comments before we get into the second half kind of summary. Well, Darpus Bruises scored 20 goals at this level. Makes me think I've got a chance of getting double figures at this level. Yeah, I know. I mean, I don't know how. The guy looks like he's just won a competition to be a footballer. And that's it. I cannot get over how he has got, like you say, he has scored 20 goals at this level before. But I can't get over how he is able to, how he's been able to do that. And in our team, especially what we've seen of him, it just looks like he's won a raffle to be a footballer. That's how it looks. So I mean, it gives us all hope. It gives all the youngsters coming through that they can make it in the game if you've got something like that. As bad as he is. Aidan says, "What's your opinion on Ruffles' performance yesterday?" In my opinion, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't good at the same time, if you know what I mean. Aidan says, "Look, I think it was okay. Like you say, I don't think it was bad either. I agree." And I do think that in that wing back position, he's not a Miller. He's nowhere near a Miller, but he does get forward quite well. He's good at getting forward. It's just defensively he's very shaky. I thought it was all right, but I was just really, obviously, I think we're all gutted that Miller went off in the first place, to be honest with you. But that's my kind of summary on him. He's all right, but the fact that he's still at the club pretty much sums it up. We needed a better, I don't like to use the word backup, but we needed better depth in that area. We've proven that. We've obviously Sorensen. Obviously, I know Sorensen hasn't been the best, to be fair, as the season's gone on, but Ziegen got injured. Sorensen was still good at going forward as well, you see. So we still missed that from that side. I just think the wing back areas, we haven't got the depth, have we, at all? But I've kind of waffled on a little bit there. Apparently, West Ham are willing to sell Marshall in January. Would you take him? I haven't particularly heard that, and to be honest with you, we've got him for the season anyway, so we don't particularly need to be looking at an option in January. We need to be looking at other, we just keep him on. Obviously, he's still with us until the summer. So if there's an opportunity to get him in the summer, then absolutely, but not in January. We need to be going for other people to strengthen the squad and using that money wisely, rather than signing a loan player that's already here for the season. So yeah, that's my opinion. But yeah, I like what I've seen of Marshall though so far. To be fair, yes, he's been a bit quiet sometimes, but I said yesterday, I just put it down to the fact is, guys, that he's relatively inexperienced in men's football before he came to the club. I know he had a spell at West Brom last season, but he hardly played. And before that, obviously he was in the academy at West Ham. So it's a big jump. And he's playing week in, well, he was playing week in, we'll get into that in a minute, but he's playing a lot of more minutes than he's ever done in the men's games. So, but yeah, he's done some good stuff for us. And obviously that goal last night, which we'll get into in a moment, hopefully that'll kind of spark him up a little bit again, because, he did look like he was lacking a little bit of confidence. Nothing was coming off, so his confidence was dropping. But yeah, no, I've loved what I've seen of Marshall. He's a hard-working individual. He shows that commitment, that passion, that desire that you want to see in a Town player. So yeah, I think he's a really good prospect. Absolutely. Blue Jays says, I can't remember Ruffles doing anything wrong yesterday. Should definitely be in the team ahead of Headley. Yeah, that's a no-brainer. That, I mean, yeah, Headley is no good, is there? So yeah, Ruffles is the best option for us to go with going forward. Just presuming that, well, we don't need to presume he's going to be out for a good while, even if it isn't a season ender, Miller. So yeah, Ruffles probably will start to get more minutes. Darkstorm says also apparently Taylor's done deal and signed on the 1st of January, but probably not true. And if we do end up signing him, it'll be the end of the window again, I suppose. I have seen us linked with Taylor, but I haven't seen anything about a done deal. I'm not really going to get on board with that, to be honest with you, and get my hopes up. I think we're just going to have to wait and see. But we're going to talk about that at the end of the show a little bit about the signs that we need to make. But yeah, I don't think it's a done deal. Yeah, I think it's a bit early. And yeah, like you say, the way we mess around, it probably will be the end of the window again before we sign somebody. And yes, absolutely, it's all about the Blue and White Terriers, HTFC, indeed. Would love to see Marshall and Taylor up front together for the second half of the season. Yeah, I think that would be a really nice combination, that wouldn't it? I agree. I think that would be perfect. But like I said, it's just so annoying that we went in for him in the summer and we ended up not getting him. But hopefully we'll have to pray that we will. But anyway, let's get into the second half. And thanks for all your contributions so far. Keep them coming, guys. I love to read your comments out. On the second half, again, I felt like we started the second half really slowly. Leyton Orient really came out the blocks and they looked a lot better than us. At any point in the first half, I think they looked a lot better than they ever did in the match. So Longvite was forced to more or less clear the ball off the line to keep the scores level. If you remember that chance that Orient had, it wasn't as dangerous as it seemed, but it kind of gave the home side encouragement early on. Now, obviously, Radulovic was replaced eventually. And I had to laugh at this substitution, guys, not about anybody else. But when he put up the number for Ladapo, I thought, wow, you've got Marshall sat on the bench here and you decide to go with Ladapo. I mean, seriously? Unbelievable. But yeah, obviously, Ladapo got 35 minutes or so and didn't do a right lot in that time, other than squander a good chance. Now, we had a huge chance missed in this second half, didn't we? Obviously, Ben Wiles, obviously another huge chance missed that could have doubled our lead. Obviously slid it. Obviously slides a one-on-one effort past the post. And he had to score that really, Wiles. He's been good Wiles so far, hasn't he? But just think he's I don't know. Yeah, he has scored some goals this season so far, but he should have been scoring that. I'm sure we'll all agree. And then the penalty that we had was saved. Chroma obviously winning the penalty after being brought down when through on goal. He got behind the Leyton Orient defence, obviously, and got his heels clipped in the box. So Chroma then steps up and misses from the spot. It was a really poor penalty. He side-footed it just slightly to the goalkeeper's right. And it was another golden opportunity to put the game to bed, and we still didn't manage it. But that's two Chromas missed now, penalties. And Duff did have some comments to say after the game about that. We're going to get into his comments, actually, Duff. We're going to cover a few quotes that he said. But yeah, we might be looking, well, more or less, we're going to be having a new penalty taken moving forward. Now, so many opportunities were falling to us at this point, weren't there? And each and every one of them has been missed. Obviously, Wiles and Chroma were the best of the bunch. And we still couldn't kill off Leyton Orient, which was frustrating. Obviously, into the final 15 minutes, obviously, it still remained 1-0. Subs, we made a triple change. Marshall, Spencer, and Hogg came on for Chroma, Turton, and Wiles. Obviously, we did desperately need fresh legs at this point, and the introduction of Hogg probably means, obviously, it kind of meant that Duff now see this out, kind of see the game out, when he brought Wiles off. And then, like I said, Ladapo missing a chance, another one of them huge chances for us. Kane, brilliant ball through by him, perfectly weighted to Ladapo. Holds his run slightly, and he was messing around and ended up, scuffing his shot. And yeah, it was blocked. So yeah, just unbelievable. And then obviously, we finally get the second goal. Callum Marshall puts the game to bed finally. Just after the host came close at the other end, Marshall closing down the Orient keeper, who attempts to boot it up, but it was good. The desire, the commitment to really get on, getting the goalkeeper's face. And obviously he earned his own luck, and it rebounded off him into the goal. And obviously, yeah, it was, it just shows how much work rate he is always prepared to put in, isn't it? Marshall, he just doesn't stop, does he, at all? And yeah, at that point, obviously it was game over. But yeah, summary at full time then. Like I said, 3 points. It's 3 points. Goals from Hellick and Marshall. Another clean sheet as well, let's not forget. Added. Now we are 7 games unbeaten in the league. Firmly in 5th place. Games in hand over 2 teams above us too. So we have got games in hand there. So, let's just keep ticking off those. Let's keep ticking off those games with wins at the side of them. And it's just about taking it one game at a time. But yeah, I think the talking about was there was so many chances yet again to put the game to bed tonight and, last night, and we missed them. But we get the job done in the end, just about. We're going to go into the man of the match in a minute because we're going to go through our player ratings. So that's what we're doing. But I thought Hellick did very well. Very solid defensively. And obviously got on the score sheet. But yeah. So have a look at what everybody else is saying. Ian says, in fairness, just said Ladapo was a late replacement for Ward. You went home ill. Yeah, to be fair, yeah, so he wasn't going to be in the yeah, so fair enough. Yeah, that's fair enough. And Michael Heffley, number 2. Yeah, I mean, obviously, yeah, it did remind us of that goal at Villa, didn't it? That Heffley scored. But look, like I said, a win's a win. And the performance wasn't the best, was it? But it doesn't matter. It's just about getting the win. And I know that we want to see better in terms of the chances that we miss it. We want to be a bit more clinical. But yeah, we won the game, and these are the kind of games that you need to win. Like we failed the test against Crawley, but we got the job done in this one. So that's what it's about. Now, we're going to go... And I think that another thing that are pleasing for me as well is, winning. We're winning games without a proper striker, which is bad. However, just imagine the scores against teams when we have a striker. So I think it just proves that it's pivotal that we do go out in January and sign Joe Taylor or a Nathan Lowe. Need a new. For me, we do need a left wing back in January, in my opinion. I know we talked about Ruffles, and obviously he does do okay, but I still don't think I still do worry in that position if we are to be without Miller for a long amount of time, which it looks like it's going to be. So yeah, and another kind of thing that I want to say is that Radolovic and Ladapo should be nowhere near the first team. So yeah, that's what I think. But look, we're going to get into the player ratings before we finish with a few quotes from Duff. I didn't have to do the quotes from Duff first and then the player ratings, but I think I should do the player ratings first, to be honest with you. Seems though we are kind of talking about the game. So let me just get the move me to the side and get player ratings up. In fact, let's have a look at the stats first, actually, of the game, because we actually forgot about that, didn't we? I can't get myself sorted here. So here are obviously the right hand side is us, obviously the left is Orient. So yeah, obviously the possession, they had a slightly bit more possession than us, but not much, to be fair. Orient really didn't test us, did they really, apart from the odd kind of heart in mouth kind of situation, but apart from that, they weren't really a threat, were they? We had 4 big chances, 14 shots in total we had. They had 11. So to be fair, it sounds like they really did, but most of their shots were very wayward. I know, obviously, a few saves apiece with the goalkeepers, but that was kind of the stats, to be honest with the game. Now let's get into the player ratings, as I was going to do before I remembered to do that. So let's get up the sofa score. Why is it so? I want you to be able to see me as well. You can kind of see me. And in fact, I'm going to have to remove the banner because we can't actually see. Right, here we are. So these are not my ratings, by the way, guys. These are sofa scores. So just to make that clear, but we have got a base to work off. So for me, let's start with the goalkeeper, Chapman. I thought Chapman did very well. And obviously had to come off his line a couple of times in the first half to deal with balls over the top. Got it right each time as well. Saved well to stop Leyton Orient's only real effort in the first half as well. But didn't really have much to do. For me, I'm going to give Chapman a 7.5. Thought he did what he needed to do, and he looked pretty solid, to be honest with you. So yeah, fair play to him. Tom Lees, for me, sofa score, giving him a 7.2. I'm going to give him a 7. Obviously back on the right of the free after his spell in the middle, which gave him more responsibility for getting forward. Tidy at both ends, a few kind of lackluster moments, but sometimes Leeds does look a bit like weary. He doesn't seem to read the game as well as I'd like him to at times, but thought he did what he needed to do. So for me, I'm going to give him a 7. Mikael Helik, whose sofa score has given the man of the match to with an 8.1. For me, look, I think Helik was brilliant. I'm going to give him an 8, and I will make him my man of the match as well. I thought he was really good. Like I say, he got his goal. Makes a big difference at the back for us. Because it was a good header for the goal. Saw it at the back on the few occasions he needed to be. Obviously, he was booked for a foul. cynical foul late on, but I thought he did very well. So it's good to see him back. And hopefully now can stay fit for the rest of the season. Lomvik, obviously, think that he dealt with his one-on-ones and quickly made up for his one moment of carelessness in the first half by recovering to make a tackle. Blocked ahead on the line as well, like I said earlier, early in the second half, as we got off to a poor start in that half. Probably one of our best players as well on the day. I'm going to give him a 7.5. I think he was really good as well. I'm going to agree with Soph's score. Now, next up, we have Ollie Turton, who, for me, obviously was replaced by Brody Spencer in the starting lineup after drawing praise from Michael Duff for his performance from the bench on Saturday. Played in the brilliant ball early on that obviously the both strikers made a mess of. If you remember, the Radolovic and then Koroma missing that, as well, both missing. That cross was from him. Had a strong first half, little bit less so after the break, I would say, but did okay. I'm probably going to give him a 6 10. I think he did okay, but yeah, I don't think he was the best overall either. Herbie Kane had good spells and bad, made plenty of challenges and interceptions in the first hour to try and keep us on the front foot, but got a bit scrappy and heavy-footed late on. Did play in that really nice ball, as I said earlier, through ball for Ladapo in the last few minutes. That obviously the striker then ended up messing up. But so for me, I'm going to give him a 6 as well. I don't know if that's too harsh, but I don't know. I don't think he was at the races at times. Up next, David Kasumu did all the David Kasumu things we like to see. Let's be honest, helping to break up Orient's play, driving the ball forward well. Had a follow-up effort off a save Ben Wiles shot as well. Stopped having obviously created the chance for Wiles in the first place. I think Kasumu gets a solid 7. I think he was really good. Miller, obviously an absolute beauty of a ball for the set piece delivery for Helic's goal for our first goal as we took the lead. The third game in a row that we have scored off a Miller set piece, which just proves how important he is. And that's why I'm so good about the situation at the moment with the injury. Obviously, like I say, he was forced off with the injury. It was just one of those. It was just one of those challenges, wasn't it, on Miller, that you just think, why did it have to happen? It was such a accidental fall on the knee, and it's just ended up messing everything up again. So I don't know. It's just so frustrating. But for me, like I said, Miller did do well. I think he gets a 7.5, though I agree with Sofa's score. Next up, Ben Wiles. For me, Ben Wiles didn't have a great game, did he, at all, in my opinion. He did work hard, but he's got his decisions wrong a lot in the first half. Kept going into Radolovic when he should have gone wide, and then blazed wide after exploiting a slip on the halfway line up for Orient. After going on one-on-one with the keeper, he squandered it. I think I have to give him a 4. I think Wiles, just wasn't at the races. He was giving the ball away too much and, just didn't look great. So for me, a 4. Bojan, well, absolutely terrible, to be honest with you. He made awfully hard work of his every touch whenever the ball came his way. Went down with some kind of issue late in the first half before shrugging it off, but he just didn't do anything again, guys, did he? He's just not impacting the game whatsoever, and he just looks such a poor footballer. For me, I'm going to have to give him a 2. Just think he was absolutely shocking. Koroma, another one that had a very poor evening, very not good enough at all. He started against his former club and again looked, and took a bit of time to warm up into the game before growing into it slightly. But even then, it wasn't great. Had his obviously had that big chance. Obviously, that was ruled out. That was obviously offside in the end, but still, kind of doesn't really excuse that miss that he did. So he did win as a penalty just after the hour that he took himself, and again missed. He had saved the second poor penalty in a row. He had stopped after the North. Obviously, he had one at Northampton against Northampton as well. Looked determined to make amends before being subbed off, though. But yeah, for me, I'm gonna have to give him a 3. Just not good enough at all, in my opinion. So that is. I don't know how SofaScore have given the likes of Bojan 6.4 and Karoma 6.7. And whilst a few of these, I don't know how they've given the scores like this. But anyway, into the subs now. Obviously, Josh Ruffles came on for Miller in injury time in the first half. So this was his first team appearance since the trip to Doncaster in early September. Showed few signs of rust, but an okay performance at both ends, but wasn't really tested that much. For me, I'm going to give him a 6. Freddie Ladapo came on in the 56th minute and missed a brilliant chance when he came on. His first touch was awful. And yeah, just not impacting the game whatsoever in my opinion. I don't know how they've given a 7 here. That is just an absolutely ridiculous score. For me, I'm going to give him a 3. Maybe I should give him a 2, to be fair. I'm going to give him a 2. Didn't do anything at all. When he did get on the ball, he's ended up squandering his chances. Doesn't offer enough. Way off the pace. And just absolutely useless on the ball. And off it as well. He's useless off the ball as well, to be honest with you. So yeah, that's my rating for him. Callum Marshall came on in the 76th minute. Partnered Ladapo for the closing stages. Got his reward for his determined closing down as he blocked the Orient keeper's attempted clearance with a rebound trickling to the net. Had to be the West Ham lone who scored against Orient, didn't it? Had an opening to help create a third, but held on to it for too long. For me, I'm going to give him a 7. I think Marshall, came on and did more than some of these players that were on for longer. So yeah, Marshall a 7, really good. To see him score as well. Hopefully that'll help him now and give him a bit of confidence. Obviously, I know Hogg came on, but it was too late for me to give him a rating for Hogg. And Brody Spencer, again, too late for me to give him a rating. To be fair, they came on at the same time as Hogg and Spencer, didn't they? So what we're talking about. Return from injury, Hogg obviously went into the holding midfielder role because we were moving forward a bit. Probably give Hogg a 6. And Spencer came on. I'd probably give him a 6 as well. And new subs, Chris Maxwell and Tom Yorpender. But there we are. That's my ratings. But let's have a look at... Sorry, Aidan, I did miss your comment, but I was just going for the ratings. I do apologise. Why do I get a feeling that Duff didn't have a say in signing Ladapo? Let's face it, he's only using him when we actually need him, as he said yesterday. Ladapo was a late replacement. Yeah, look, it's ridiculous, isn't it? The fact that we are operating in this way, why are we not getting the players that Duff wants? And to be fair, well, in this particular instance anyway, and I don't understand. Mind you, I think it was just because it was a panic buy and Duff, they want, when it was a panic buy, probably just came out of the blue. So it probably wasn't his. Yeah, it's pretty evident that he doesn't really want him in the squad at all. Because, like I say, Ward would have been on the bench had he have been available. Which Ward chooses when he wants to play. It seems all this about being ill, being injured. How many times do you get ill in a season? I'm sorry, but his commitment and his to the cause is quite. I'm quite. What's the word? Quite suspicious about that, really. Doesn't seem right, does it? He seems to pick when he wants to play or when he wants to be in the squad, and then says that he's ill, and then he gets injured as well. To be fair, he's probably an injury-prone player, but the ill side of it he's either ill or injured if he's not of it, and he's, yeah. But anyway, but yeah, I agree. I don't think it was his signing at all. But I don't think there was many options to go out at that point because we'd already messed up getting who we really wanted in the first place. But let's have a look at what Duff had to say then. Let's have a look at a few of the quotes. He first said, an away win is exactly what... no, in fact, no, hang on. He said a win is a win. We've not won an away game since Bolton. So yeah, it was the first win since Bolton away, which we discussed before the game. He said, we found a way again. That's 2 games in a row now where we've done that. We haven't done that earlier on in the season. Yeah, we seem to find a way to get over the line. Yeah, fair enough. In the end, if we are more clinical, which we keep talking about, we shouldn't have our hearts in our mouths until the 88th minute. Yeah, I agree. The game should have been out of sight by that point, way out of sight before that point, and that is the problem, isn't it? Because I think when you do kind of come up against better teams, then you will be getting punished for this. He said a win's a win, and we will take them. Yeah, you've got to take them, haven't you, when you get them. Duff also gave an update on Miller, where he said that he thinks he's open up his medial ligament in his knee, which it's just not great at all. That doesn't sound great at all. I'm no physio, but a medial ligament, that is very serious. Again, he said it's unbelievable at the minute in terms of injuries. You literally get a couple back and then a couple come out. Yeah, we're having no breaks of injuries this season, have we, at all so far? I think it's just so infuriating that we're just constantly, getting such bad luck with the injuries. But yeah, I mean, Miller obviously has been prone to injuries before, but I just think this was just a bad accident, really, because he wasn't anything malicious. He was just the Orient player just fell on his knee, so it was a bit of a funny incident in terms of unusual incident, should I say. And he said he feels like we are swimming against the tide constantly. Yeah, it does. It really does. And in the busiest part of the season, coming up to Christmas now as well, and we're getting players ruled out. He reiterated that we can still be better, which I think we all agree on that. Too bitter, he said, without criticising the centre forward. So he really wants to criticise the centre forward, but he chose not to. He said, without criticising the centre forwards too much again, too many things that broke down on the top line. We can't keep relying on set plays. So really, he's not said that he's criticised, but he's kind of said it in his own way, and he's clearly not happy. And he's kind of like, he obviously, he's kind of said it in a more polite manner, but really, he's basically saying the forward, our strikers have to step it up. But I just don't think we've got the quality there to step up, unfortunately, because of Marshall looks good. Karoma looks like he's still labouring. It does take him a few weeks after being injured to get back up to speed again, it seems. It's happened time and time again with Karoma. So Karoma doesn't look at the best at the moment. Well, he looks way off it, to be honest with you. And we know what Ladapo and Radulovic offer, and Ward is just a liability as well. So, someone's got to put their hand up at some point, he said. That is pressure. But ultimately, at some point, somebody's got to put their hand up. We should have won comfortably. Yeah, agree. And then he went on to say, I'd rather critique wins. I've been critiquing too many losses this season. That's 7 unbeaten now in the league. We can still be better. So, kind of speaking really what I can't argue with what he's saying here, really. And somebody needs to take responsibility up front and say, look, I'm the main man here, but nobody seems to want to. Probably Marshall is probably our best option up front at the moment. Well, he's at the top of the pecking order at the moment for me in terms of strikers that should start. And I just think, apart from his age, I'm unsure why Duff has somewhat kind of limited his playing time recently. I'm not sure what that, in the last few games. I don't really understand it. I don't really understand it. And chosen really bad players in front of him in Ladapo and Radulovic getting it. It's kind of it's kind of insulting in a way, because Marshall, yes, he's not been the best himself either, but he still offers a lot more than what any of our other strikers offer, even if he isn't fully at the races. I think you should play him at every opportunity, Marshall. That's my opinion. Now, obviously, you did talk about the Chroma penalties. He said Chroma penalty miss has opened up the door for a new penalty taker, as he states in the quotes coming up. He will come off them now, he said. Someone else will take the next penalty. Penalty takers are going to miss one, but once you miss two, I think you need to relook at it. Yeah, agreed. We will have a conversation at this as the staff now, and there will be a nominated penalty taker moving forward. So yeah, interesting comments there by Duff. But kind of feel like we've kind of wrapped up everything that I want to say. But look, at the end of the day, as I said, we won the game, and that is important. And we just have to keep moving. We just have to keep ticking off those games. And as I said, just doing what we need to do. Look at what you're saying now. Herbie Kane, new penalty taker, right opinion. Yeah, good shout, to be fair. It's the experienced. And yeah, really, I think I've got to agree with you. And I think really Duff knows himself that he, just on another topic, I think Duff knows himself that he's just fed up with the strikers that he has at his disposal at the moment. And, he keeps saying, doesn't he, in his interviews after the games, he's clearly as frustrated as the fans about the situation at the moment. And I think the fact that we've got so many strikers in the building and probably only two look what we need. Only two look what we need. One's on loan and the other is a converted winger. So yeah, I think it just sums up the state of affairs at the moment. Now, like I said, hopefully we can, like I said, this week, obviously there's not a game this weekend, is there? So yeah, obviously Duff has said that the lads will be in training on Saturday, and rightly so, because at the end of the day, you do not get rewarded for being embarrassed in the FA Cup first round against non-league opponents. So the standards of not getting a weekend off, absolutely not. You'll be in the training ground and you'll be working, and that's the right thing to do. So I'm pleased that he's done that. So yeah, obviously no game this weekend. So our next game is Wigan at home next Tuesday at the John Smith Stadium. So yeah, a little bit of a break now, but we've got a week, well, less than a week now, isn't it, to prepare for Wigan. And yeah, but look, 3 points and 3 points, just a summary. And we know that things aren't clicking at the moment up at the top end of the pitch. But we are still managing to win. So it's one of those, isn't it? But if we are going to really push for that automatic, when in January, we really do need to be sorting ourselves out. And we're going to have, it looks like we're going to have a busy January window to to be honest, because yeah. But as long as we keep in touching distance with them automatic places, we are well in the race for automatic. I don't care what anybody says. The squad, yes, at the moment isn't. I don't think it's going to be able to get into the top two at this point. But if we can get some players in January, then I do feel like it can really propel us to the automatic places. As long as we stay in touching distance, which we are in touch. I would say we're in touching distance at the moment. If you look at the table, just going to get up the table and then we're going to wrap up. But I did kind of show it last night, but we're just going to have a look again. Just quickly zoom in, share the screen. Right, there we are. So let me just share the screen. We're going to wrap up in a few moments. But we're just going to have a look at the table first before we wrap up. Try and get to the hour. So here we are. So obviously we're in fifth at the moment. Obviously, like I said, we have got games in hand on Wrexham and a few others above us as well. So look, and you know what I mean. We've currently 5 points off second at the moment, but like I said, we have got a game in hand. I don't particularly think Wrexham are pulling away in any. Well, they've kind of slowed up a bit, haven't they, recently? But I don't think they're gonna. I think we're just gonna keep being close to them. And yeah, if we just keep winning our games, then and go on a winning run now. If we can go on a winning run of 5 or 6 games, winning every game, I think we really will really will be pushing even further in. So yeah, it's one of those, isn't it? That's where we're at the moment. So yeah. But if anybody does want to come and have their say, then you can. But obviously, it's a bit of a quiet one today, isn't it? Because obviously, everybody is probably at work or studying. But yeah, no, I'm probably just going to wrap it up in a moment. But any more final questions, any more final thoughts, get them in before we wrap up the show. But it's been a good stream, obviously. Content coming up on what day are we on Wednesday? Oh, the late night football show is tomorrow night, and with Matt from Up the Cherries in all departments. So if you want to come and tune in and just talk about different topics, see just general football. Obviously, we'll cover Huddersfield as well, in the show as well. But it's a good little show, good little collaboration with the guys over there at Up the Cherries, and yeah, so that'll be tomorrow at 10 o'clock in the evening. And then on Friday, I'm going to be doing the FC25 career mode again. We'll get another episode out, and that'll be 6 till 8 o'clock, I'm thinking. But yeah, so that's content coming out. Obviously a free weekend with obviously Town not playing, so I might have a few ideas that I might want to release some videos, maybe on Saturday or maybe Sunday. But if not, I'll be back on Monday for the preview to Wigan as well. So there's a few streams coming up for you guys to enjoy on the channel. Make sure you do drop a like on the video, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and share the channel with everybody you know. That would be great help to me. And let's keep this community growing. And Ian says, brilliant live stream, mate, Up the Town. Michael Duff's bar, man. Indeed, yeah. Big up to you, Ian. Thank you very much. I'm glad you enjoyed it. And like I said, we'll be back tomorrow night. I go live on both. We go live on both each other's channel now, so it'll be live on my channel as well as Up the Cherries. So yeah, tune in tomorrow night at 10 if you can. Good to see a few of you in the chat. where we talk all sorts. Got some good topics to cover. So yeah, hopefully see you guys then. But enjoy the rest of your day, whatever you get up to. A big win for the Terriers as we go 7 games unbeaten now. Let's keep building that momentum. Let's just kind of scrape towards January and then really get busy in that window. Nagel has already said the money will be available, but the fact is, I don't trust the people that are running, doing the recruitment at the moment, as does nobody at the moment, let's be honest. So, but we can only hope and pray. The money will be available in January, clearly, but it's just about spending it wisely, which we haven't done on quite a few of our signings that we've made. So yeah, but yeah, good to get the win, and let's keep building a free weekend. In fact, it's not a free win because the lads will be in training, but no game this weekend, so a little bit of a break before we get back to on Tuesday. So, but yeah, I struggled to wrap this. So yeah, guys, just a reminder: late night football show tomorrow, Friday, FC25 stream, and then potentially something over the weekend, but I'm not sure yet. To be honest, probably not. And then Monday we'll be doing the preview to the Wigan game on obviously on Tuesday night. So yeah, thanks all for watching. Thanks for all your support, and as always, up the town and Michael Duff's Balmy Army. Take care, everybody, and have a good rest of your day, whatever you get up to. Stay safe now. Take care.